NATO chief. My aim is for Sweden to join alliance by July.
Here's a summary of the article.
Sweden could still become a NATO member by summer, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg told Politico on Thursday as Finland moved ahead on its own to join the military alliance. The two Nordic countries initially applied to join NATO together last year, but their fates diverged Thursday after Turkey ratified Finland's bid while leaving Sweden behind, the product of a lingering dispute over the country's support for Kurdish groups and limitations on arms exports. My aim remains that after the Turkish elections, but before the Vilnius summit, we can also have the ratification of Sweden, the Secretary-General said from NATO headquarters in Brussels, referencing the alliance's annual gathering on July 11. The NATO chief argued that even getting Finland into NATO after months of delays, also the result of Turkey-led objections over similar issues, shows the military alliance is working amid Russia's war in Ukraine. If both Finland and Sweden join the alliance, Stoltenberg noted, 96% of the European Union's population will soon live in a NATO country. There were hard negotiations, but Sweden has proven that they are stepping up the cooperation with Turkey, fighting terrorism, exchanging more intelligence, information, and there are no restrictions on arms exports, from Sweden to Turkey, he added. They're now sitting at the NATO table, he said, pointing out that the alliance has boosted its presence in the region and some allies have given Sweden security assurances.
This post received a score of 6,500, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Man, imagine being Putin and seeing rapid NATO expansion, when you've started a war and, literally, burnt billions trying to prevent exactly that. They were not trying to prevent that, they were trying to steal Ukraine's land and genocide anyone that gets in the way. That was their only aim. Also, they were trying to get rid of a Western-friendly government. Putin likes his Eastern Europe neighbors to be autocratic puppets modeled after him. Ukraine was threatening to be a counterexample. It feels naive to say things like, democracy versus autocracy, but it seems like a very real motivation for this war and for the prior fucking around with Georgia.
Wow. Look at how our neighbors are happy, healthy and prosperous under a democratic and non-autocratic rule. Perhaps we should vote for change? Putin's worst nightmare.
Mr. Putin, someone has coughed in Brazil. Shut down everything. Closing square bracket opening parenthesis.
Folks, do you think this will happen? What are your thoughts?
There are elections in Turkey in a few weeks. If Erdogan gets fired, then we can only hope for a more reasonable outcome. I would not be surprised if the by July from the quote actually means after Turkey's elections.
Greater than I would not be surprised if the by July from the quote actually means after Turkey's elections. I think this is exactly what it means.
It's interesting to see the push for Sweden to join NATO, especially given their historical position of neutrality.
Greater than the push for Sweden to join NATO. On 16 May 2022, the then government, with broad support in the Riksdag, decided to apply for NATO membership. On 5 July 2022, all NATO member countries signed the accession protocol for Sweden. Words of Swedish government here. Sweden has chosen to be a part of it. Existing NATO members, well, all but one or two, happily accept their application and admissions are being sorted out. It is important to execute that move as quickly as possible for alliance stability. Sake.
People are underestimating how disastrous this is to Russian national security. Pretty much the best launch site for Russian nukes is their base in the Kola Peninsula. The base is supplied by a single rail and road connection that runs parallel to Finland. A thunder run from Finland would cripple the Kola Peninsula and separate Russia from most of its best nukes. And now with Sweden also joining, there won't be a single spot in the Baltic Sea that won't be monitored by NATO. Russia's ability to project naval power from Kaliningrad and St. Petersburg will essentially be over.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.